is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
The only thing other than that I've got to say, how about them Cowboys?
There were a lot of highlights on Monday night at AT&T Stadium, but that was the biggest roar of the night, I think, when Jimmy made that pronouncement. And
That's
how
all
about
they
them
were waiting on.
Cowboys?
That's all they were waiting on.
Yep, a Victory Tuesday here inside the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star in Frisco. Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola. And how about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys?
You know what? It's funny. As many times as I heard that, I still laugh when I hear it. Even last night when he did that, it was pretty good timing at halftime.
Yep, and what a win for the Cowboys. It was as dominating as some of us predicted on Friday.
Yeah,
right?
not
Some
me.
of us.
Oh,
Not me.
Did you not predict that,
I
Mickey?
only had 26-18.
Okay.
What did I do? 24-14? Something like that?
Okay, I think I did 33-15.
You were good.
So I
You were
win.
good.
So you win. But pick to click,
Yeah.
Dalton Schultz.
Man.
Well, okay. Do you think the pick to click that wins is Dalton Schultz, or is it my pick to click?
Do you have Trevon Diggs?
I had Trevon Diggs.
I
Man,
think
that's a tough one, bro.
we might have a tie.
That's a tough one, bro.
I got 2 touchdowns.
That's a
You only
tough
got 1.
Did you see the other plays my guy made?
Yeah, did you see
How
the
many
6?
PBUs did he have?
I need to look it up.
3.
At least 3.
Yeah.
That's all?
I believe so.
They
Hang
was. All right.
Well, there's 3 of you in the
3.
room. You guys get the vote.
Yeah. Okay. I got an idea.
Everson,
okay?
Everson has the tie, and that ain't fair.
Wait a second. So Mickey's got Dalton. I've got Trevon. Everson. Who won the pick to click?
Anything that will bring up my name, I'm going to pick that guy. So, I'm sorry, Spags. It's your show anyway.
I got the
so
leading.
you get that.
I got the leading receiver. I got 2 touchdowns and nearly a third, by the way.
Well, and I will say this: I underestimated, or I overestimated what Trevon would do against his former Alabama teammates, Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith, because on Friday I said he would have 2 picks.
See there?
And so,
if you count 3 breakups,
yeah.
I mean, come on, man. That guy was controlling everything, and those breakups led to offensive points. That's
And
what I like about it.
Mickey, who's the last Cowboy to have interceptions in the first 3 games of a season?
Whoa, wait. Got his hand up in the air.
But then they had this other guy. I never heard of him. 1961. He had 4.
Four games?
I think it's 4 games. 1961. They put his name up there, and I'm like, okay, way to steal my thunder. But then it's true. I think a guy back in 1961, he had 4.
Like 1 in 4 consecutive. The first 4 games.
First 4 games of the season.
Yes.
All right,
Look back to the beginning.
I'll find that real quick.
That stat
I'm
they
sure it
put up
wasn't- I'm
sounded
sure-
like
it's
you 2 were the only ones that
Hey,
done
it's
it.
1961, so I know it wasn't a brother. So go ahead and just don't look at the photos.
Because Mel Renfro didn't show up till 62, I think.
Let's see. Mm-hmm. Oh, Don Bishop.
There you go.
Don Bishop.
How many did he finish with?
8.
Wait a second. Yeah,
8.
he had 8.
8 the year.
Yep.
He just had 8?
He had
that year?
8 for the season.
Oh, I had 9.
Yeah.
So,
well, how many games did they play back then?
good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
That might have been
It was a 14-game
that was
season.
The 14,
It was
that was the
14
first.
game
It was 14.
season.
That
Yeah.
was the first 14 games.
I'll take that a push. I'll take a push. On
But as I pointed out last week, Diggs is on a interception pace per
Yes, he is.
game.
Dude, if he gets 17,
9's in trouble.
who can? First of all,
Or
you got
11, I meant
Thank
to
you.
say 11.
See, when you have multiple years to pick from,
Right.
then it's a thing that I get to hang my hat on.
Right.
But I said if we get 11, if he gets 11 picks, I know a lot of other stuff can happen. They could do. If he gets 11 picks and controls the game the way he did from the cornerback position, there were times when he made a big third down PBU or a huge second down PBU, and it led to the Eagles kicking the ball, and it led to an ensuing touchdown drive by the Cowboys. That's what I'm talking about, when the defensive back can control the game.
And by the way, you want to see a picture of Don Bishop?
It's a brother. Whoa! Where'd he come from?
There you go. Don Bishop.
1961.
That's right.
Wow.
And that's shocking because
Where is he? We got to look this dude up, man.
they weren't throwing the ball that much.
They
back
weren't,
then,
no.
right? Evidently, they weren't.
Go ahead,
and when they
Bill.
did, they
now
weren't.
that
throwing it
needs to
very
be
well.
tweeted right there.
There you go. Okay, well, I'm working on it. Just a
There
second.
you go,
Just
man.
a
That is
second.
amazing.
In fact, let's see here. Where is he now? Born in 1934. Still alive.
That's my dad's.
At Jefferson High School in California.
Okay,
I'll give you that much.
Couldn't give him
L.A.
Texas,
City College. And played from 1960 to 1965, a Pro Bowler in 1962 for your Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys.
I don't
Trip
think that-
down memory lane.
I don't remember that guy's
Don Bishop.
ever
Is
name
that
coming
crazy
up.
in anything?
Nothing.
And he had led the Cowboys in interceptions, and no one talks
And
about
at one point in his personal life, worked as a mortician's assistant during the offseason.
During the offseason.
That is crazy, Chris. Come on, Chris.
Job.
That's when you had to have an off-season job. You're a Pro Bowler, and you got to go help out dead people. That's
I was
crazy.
looking at the exact same thing, Bill.
I'm thinking that would be my second least job ever I would do.
Yep.
That's got to be the most interesting tidbit of knowledge I have ever come
right.
across.
That might have to
especially
be-
on this show.
That might have to be a mix shot tomorrow.
That is a serious mix shot.
And let me say this. On my way in, I listened to Philadelphia Sports Talk Radio.
Oh.
And
They weren't happy.
There's a lot of morticians, assistants in Philadelphia who are busy today.
Oh, this is great stuff. Boy, talk about a mix shot moment. This is very
Hey, they aren't
Don
happy
Bishop.
on that show,
They are
right?
not happy in Philadelphia.
Were they mad? Who were they mad?
That's a great pastime. Is after you beat the Eagles, then go listen
cool.
to Philadelphia Sports Talk
that
Radio.
it's good for the soul.
Who were they most mad at?
You name
Jalen?
it.
Sirianni.
Sirianni.
And the coach.
Yeah. Well, and I can't believe it either. Three rush plays by a running back in that game.
Yeah.
They had 3 runs by a running back in that game.
Yep.
Well, that's because they were always behind the chains.
That's true.
Well,
If you think about it.
And they really didn't feel good going against that D-line. Come on. I mean, from the moment the game started, we were in their backfield.
yeah, but then they get the fumble in the end zone. It's a 7-7 game, and then Mick, here comes a Mick shot.
Uh-oh.
And then Dak doesn't get credited for a touchdown on the goal line.
Yeah, that was horrible.
And
Were they playing blind man's
was
bluff?
horrible,
Here we go.
They're playing
Here we go. Here
blind
goes
man's
Mick.
bluff.
Hey,
Seriously.
I don't care. That ball had to be between his legs.
That's what I said.
For him not to
I
score.
said it on the radio this
It
morning.
had to be
Half
between
his
his
body
legs.
was over the line. The ball had to be between his legs not to score.
Dak was extremely upset about that. You could tell. He said, like, come on.
And the guy that called it on the side, he couldn't see because when they showed the replay, you could not tell where the ball was. But he comes running in like this and fourth down. And then he puts the ball, if you took this piece of paper, you couldn't fit it between the ball and the goal line. And he could see that?
He saw that.
close?
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Okay.
He was looking at the wrong ball.
And that was
measuring the other
2
ball.
bad calls within 5 minutes of the game.
Okay,
The interception.
Here's who's at fault on that. Because as you said, neither official can see because it's just bodies in there. So you cannot see Dak. Here's who's at fault there. You've got a camera.
That's right,
Bill. That's
exactly.
above.
Just
You
use
cannot
it.
have the sky cam in the Cowboys' backfield on the
Come
goal
on,
line
man.
like that. You have to have it over the goal line. I mean, the NFL needs to tell the networks that in that situation, when a team's on the goal line, hover that thing right
They
over the
should
goal line.
not have to do that.
And
Yeah.
even when it was above, you could see he scored.
His scrotum
Right.
was over the goal line.
Yes,
Come on, man.
yes.
Give me a break,
You're
bro.
exactly right. And then it's like, what are they looking at? And then the nerve to replay it and still say he didn't score. The interception. What happened to momentum going into the end zone?
That confused me.
They spotted the ball where his butt hit. The ball was already crossed the plane.
Right.
Right? They spotted it where his butt hit. That was a 7-point
That's
call
true.
right
That's
there.
true.
As it turned out.
They
Yep.
would have never had a touch. They would have been shut out in the first half. Mm-hmm. Golly.
Hey, by the way,
And how does the guy miss the call on Cedric Wilson's reception? He calls it a reception, right? When you see it, it was pretty obvious he only had 1 foot down.
Yeah, that's true.
And they missed that call. It was one after another. What are these guys doing?
The offseason's been tough for referees.
I should have brought in my white hat
Yeah,
today.
where's your hat?
Yeah, where's my hat?
I think the funny thing is I looked up how many cameras Monday Night Football has, and it says over 50.
Over
So
50.
50 cameras, and
You can't
not
get just one from overhead.
Saw Dak get in the end zone.
But even if you saw that from overhead, I don't think it would have made a difference because they would say they still can't see the ball because you still saw enough from certain angles to where, like I said,
Well, when he reached out, the only reason you can't unequivocally say that it was over the goal line is because of the angle of the camera, and it's not
coming from behind.
It's not 3D, and so you can't tell for sure where he is on that. That's why you got to be.
But it was still
right on the
clearly
goal
shown
line.
that his
Yeah.
entire torso
Right.
was in the
And
end
so,
zone.
really, that was a case.
And that was before the reach.
And as I was shouting at my TV at the time, that was a case where you have to take as much time as is necessary to match up all the shots. And you got to look at body parts, okay?
Well, they called themselves doing that.
Well-
They really did. And after taking a look at that's why it took so long. And I think they mentioned if it's taking this long, then it's going to stand. And
So-
the call did stand.
I'm taking you back 35 years when Tex Schramm came up with the idea that they have to put a chip in the football and have the goal line some sort of monitoring laser
Yeah.
thing. And when the ball hits that laser, it's a touchdown. Oh, no, we can't do that. That's too
The chip's too heavy.
That's too advanced.
It'll affect the pass.
Yeah.
You're passing the ball.
I mean, it's
How,
just,
how would the laser work?
I have no idea
Bodies,
what
with bodies in the way.
I had no idea what
because
Tex
the
said.
bodies,
Because
don't,
the bodies
have
don't
chips.
have a chip.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
It's like
man.
how
So
you
the chip is in the goal
On both
line
ends of the
all
ball.
the way across.
That's right.
No, just the laser itself. Just the laser
Well,
itself.
that's what I'm saying. Does a human body block the laser?
it doesn't.
How do you find a dog when it has a chip in its ear, right?
We got satellite going here.
Tex
That's
was
right.
way ahead of his
And by
time.
the way, guys, I mean, you just step all over my pick to click.
Oh yeah.
That was-
Who was that?
yeah. Oh yeah. Who was that?
Here's
I bet it
what's
was.
funny.
I bet it was Zeke.
Oh, wait.
No.
Here's
No.
what's funny about it. We are so into ourselves. Okay.
We didn't even
That was
ask.
way
him.
past.
No. But I remember each week. I remember who my pick to click is. I can't. Even though you two say the same thing. You know, you make your picks to click.
Yeah,
Mickey
yeah.
today, he had no clue until I texted last night.
Who he didn't know?
He had no clue that I picked Diggs because he's all.
I remember that.
He's all
Yeah.
into himself, you know.
I knew somebody picked Dix, and I knew that would be.
So
the
here's-
I remember he picked it.
Yeah. Okay. That's because I picked a cornerback.
So y'all don't know who I picked?
Zeke.
No.
Oh.
I talked about how our front line needs to be strong, and especially in the middle because they're going to have Hargraves and have Cox in the middle. Be honest. That's what
How did he do last night?
he did. Okay. No. Let me say this.
Hey, what-
he
my-
fought. No. He fought.
He did.
And he went up against Hargraves. Let me say this. Biotis wasn't on the sidelines getting his belly rubbed because it was too tough and hot off in there. They were going at it over and over again. And I have to say, I don't know what they're going to score there, but Biadasz won that matchup. There were times Biadasz never came out of the game. Hargrove came out of the game several times. Cox, he takes his plays off every once in a while. One time he came off of Biadasz' block, tried to make a tackle on Zeke, didn't work. He had to pull his hamstring and needed some water and all of that. They wore him down. He wore Hargraves down throughout the ball game.
By the way, that was indicative of the entire game.
Yes.
The Cowboys wore the Eagles down. And with the run
They fought
game,
hard. The Eagles fought hard.
The defense versus the Eagles offense and the Cowboys offense versus the Eagles defense.
They were worn down.
And here's another case. Here's another case of the announcers not watching the replay but having an idea. So on the sack fumble in the end zone, they basically blame Biadasz because Hargrove came right by him. But Connor Williams was supposed to help out, and his initial move was to the right to help, and then he let go, and he comes back, and he blocked nobody.
Yeah.
Why didn't he stay with him? Because Hargrove was splitting him. It wasn't like he was head up. He was splitting him.
Yeah.
He's supposed to help out.
And there were times when they chose to just run right at Hargrave.
Thank you, Everson.
What did I say, Hargrove?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
we had all said Hargrove the entire time.
I thought I said
You said Hargrave.
I thought I said Hargrave.
The whole time I was thinking, you know what? You give me 41-21.
We can call you what the hell we want to call you.
You're the Grove, right?
Yeah, we can call you whatever we want to call you. But yeah, we even like I said, first quarter, he did. He pushed it back into the end zone real well, but Hargrove went down.
Hargrave.
He went down. He went down several times.
Speaking of mortician's assistants, Hargrave.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like he works in a bleak,
Make sure you get
area.
Fletcher right. Okay?
Yeah. No, they just did such a good job. We were consistent and we were persistent in running the ball, and that's what I liked about it. We kept pounding it inside. They fought hard defensively, especially on that D line. I got to give them some credit. They were going down and they were bringing guys in. They were going out. It was a what do they call it? A revolving door going in for that D line. But our offensive line, they did exactly what they had to do. They ran the ball just like we said they would. We thought they were going to come out with a cover two. They pretty much did with two high safeties. And when they didn't come out with the high, we forced them to bring that other safety down. Then Dak just audible out
And even with the
bootlegs
safeties
and
back,
tight ends.
they're playing zone, and the Cowboys receivers just ripped them.
Yeah.
Especially the tight end, by the way.
Okay, yeah.
I know.
Okay, we've got two segments left.
Okay.
One segment let's devote to the defense.
Okay.
And the other segment let's devote to the scene last night, meaning halftime and the whole shebang. How's that?
Did you stay there the whole game?
I did not. I had to go back
Okay.
to the TV station. But okay, we are back with more Mick shots in just a moment.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way. Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
It's game day. You know what that means. First, kebab prep. Steak, pepper, onion, steak, pepper, onion. Next, a counterclockwise lap around the room. Now the lucky grease-stained jersey goes on. And lastly, the dance. You know the one. This is a game day ritual no matter where you are. Whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com and keep the tradition alive and well. Hotels.com, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Mick Shots.
Head to AT&T Stadium on Saturday, October 2nd to experience Rally Day presented by SeatGeek. Take a tour of the stadium, play games, get autographs from the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, and more. Visit attstadium.com/rallydays for tickets and more information.
Good job, Spags.
Way to go, Mickey. A flawless performance, much like the Cowboys on Monday night. And now the short week, and the Carolina Panthers, the unbeaten Carolina Panthers, come to AT&T Stadium for a noon kickoff this week. And we'll get more into that as the week goes on. Although I just see that they placed another player, Justin Burris, on injured reserve today. So they're without McCaffrey, they're without J.C. Horn. But let's spend this day talking about the Cowboys and the Eagles. And how about that Dallas defense?
How about that?
The takeaways keep on coming.
That's
well,
right,
and Jimmy Johnson, who is such a proponent of a front four that penetrates and gets to the quarterback, an aggressive front on defense. He had to be sitting there, especially after just seeing the first half of that game. It probably gave him incentive enough to say, how about them Cowboys? He had to love what he was seeing.
As much fun as Jimmy was having, I don't think he watched much of the game at all. I gotta be honest.
Now, Everson, you were there last night.
I was definitely there last night.
Yep.
I enjoyed it because, of course, the two undrafted free agents, both from Oklahoma, by the way, both from schools in Oklahoma, Tulsa and Ouachita Baptist.
And Ouachita's in Arkansas.
Ouachita Baptist. Oh, Arkansas.
Yeah,
I thought that was in Oklahoma. No, it is not. That's why I have you here, Bill. I really appreciate you.
Born and raised in Arkansas.
Arkansas. He was born and raised in Arkansas.
Des Arc, Arkansas.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it because, of course, I have, much emotion for those guys. And the fact that Diggs was able to kind of have my name being brought up, kind of like in the back somewhere, like I'm over there lurking, like, hey, where am I supposed to be in this picture? But no, I enjoyed the fact that those guys got what they deserved. I'm glad they didn't put Jimmy in the way that Mike wanted to. Because, like you said, those guys, Drew and Cliff, they deserve their moment.
Yeah, and there's not enough time during halftime to do all of that.
And then do extra.
Yeah, right. So we'll get more into that in just a second. But this defense, okay, and what they were especially – let's start with the front four, okay? And especially when you consider what they're missing in the front four to be able to do what they were able to do last night. It's very impressive, and I'll start with the rookies, Osa and Parsons.
Absolutely, and Osa Digizua had his coming out party, his third NFL start, and he gets four tackles,
a sack
and a half. A sack and a half. He shared a sack with Parsons. One tackle for a loss, 2 quarterback hits. And he ended up playing 33 snaps. So basically about just more than half the game.
You got the snap counts there? How many Parsons have?
Parsons had 37.
All at defensive end.
64%, all at
defensive end.
Or however you want to call it, because at one point he looked like it was a high school thing, like he was the rover standing up. But the key thing they did with him, and not to get away from Osa, is they kept moving him. They were flipping sides.
I saw that.
Weak and strong, and they made sure he was on the weak side so the tight end wasn't chipping him.
Yeah.
Although he did
got chipped real good
by the wide receiver.
A wide receiver took him down.
Cracked him right in the ribs.
I was very surprised about
Somebody
that.
asked him after the game, they asked him, were you surprised about getting chipped, to get respect like that? He goes, if that's what I need to do to get respect, I don't need it.
That hurt. Yeah, he went out for a play, and I thought they'd keep him out, but they brought him back
in. That's what I said. That's it.
That's Micah.
Just keep
You're
him
done.
out.
That's Micah.
Right? And he comes walking back in, right? Yeah.
That's what we've
They were already up.
quickly figured out about Micah. We figured that out in the Hall of Fame game, that kid just wants to be on that football field.
And he was a menace to the point where, and his line was 4 tackles, half a sack, a tackle for a loss, a quarterback hit, a pass defense, and he influenced a holding call on Lane Johnson.
Sure
to
did.
the point after the game, he pointed out that Lane Johnson came up to him and says, "Hey, rookie, what about we switch jerseys, swap jerseys?"
Yeah, swap jerseys. Yeah. That's the thing.
And
That's a matter of respect.
And he goes, "Oh my gosh!"
Yes.
He goes, "And I'm fanboy, right? Because I used to pick him for my video games, right? Lane Johnson, and he wanted my jersey."
That's cool.
Yeah, especially growing up in Pennsylvania.
Right?
Yeah.
So
that's a good point. Yeah.
So he was fired up about flipping
So
jerseys.
he was kicking butt for the people back home.
That's right.
Good stuff. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But when you look at the game, I had it down here digging. I was digging Odiggy, however you say his name.
97.
97.
Osa.
Osa, he did a great job. And let's hey, I'm always talking trash about him. And, having a good supporting cast really helps make you look good when you're flying around the field. But Jalen Smith was balling, y'all. I mean, he was really doing a good job. He was hustling. He didn't seem lost as he was last year. You still want him to be that guy that kind of plugs the holes. But when you've got an active defensive line creating all of that pressure and causing running backs to improvise themselves, Jalen Smith did a great job of going sideline to sideline. He's covering his defensive linemen's butts the way he's supposed to. If you make a move inside, then I'm going to play off of you. I'm going outside. If you make it outside, I'm going to play off of you and going inside. Very coordinated attack by Jalen Smith and Banderas.
You know what the strange thing is they played, and Jerry Jones said this on his Friday segment on the radio. He said one of the things he was most excited about was the young players, new players, how much they were contributing, and he says, and that's going to end up paying dividends later in the season. And it was almost like defensively, Bill, you brought up the defense. It was like you almost didn't miss the guys that were missing.
No.
They compensated.
No.
Right?
You did not.
They figured out how to get pressure without DeMarcus Lawrence on the field. They figured out how to clog up the middle without Carlos Watkins or Neville Gallimore on the field.
Well, they were more they were more active up front with the more hybrid type of players because they were running a lot of stunts.
Right.
And those stunts were causing the Eagles' offensive line to be totally off balance. Not just the stunts, but the speed of the stunts. And Randy Gregory came inside a couple of times, and they had to reach out and pull him down.
And grab
had to.
Right. And from the pressure standpoint, Dorrance Armstrong didn't play. Bradley Anai didn't play, right? Keanu Neal didn't play. And the linebackers held their own without Parsons being a part of the linebackers. Donovan Wilson didn't play. KZ and Curse once again leads them in tackles.
Dude, he is
the guy is balling.
He is something
and
else.
I swear when I looked up about him, now he started some games last year for Detroit, but when he was in Minnesota, he was like a special teams
guy.
player.
Yep, and he played at Clemson.
Who does he remind you of? I mean, I know who does he remind you of?
He's 6'4".
And not putting that aside, I just mean his instinct, the way he's all over the field. He just reminds me of Woodson. He reminds me of Darren Woodson, big time, making plays everywhere, dropping down, playing the slot where you want me, Coach.
Right.
I'm gonna make a difference. I can blitz, I can cover the slot, I can be deep. However you want me to do it.
Now, what Woodson had that he probably doesn't have is the speed.
No doubt.
And Woodson could cover a Jerry Rice in the slot, you know. But I mean, when you look at a guy
with difficulty,
but you look at a guy who can cover a tight end and he's just so active in everything he's doing. I mean, so credit Will McClay and the scouting staff. When you look at a guy who's been in the league for 5 years and really hasn't done much, and
I think he's a Dan Quinn pick. I think he's a Dan Quinn choice.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, Will's the man. But
size and length.
Yeah, I think he chose him because that's the kind of player that Quinn likes on his defense. They finally spoke of it yesterday about the ability for all of our players to do different things, the diversity of our players up front, especially the back seven, is unmatched right now in the NFL.
And think about this. Kurz, basically Keanu O'Neal, DeMonte KZ, and Hooker, basically all signed one-year deals.
I know.
So that means there wasn't no bidding war for these guys. Now, the guys that played with him at Atlanta might have said, okay, I'm coming off injuries, let me try to restart my career. I'll go with the guy that, had my back in Atlanta. But I'm only signing a one-year deal. But these one-year deals, usually when you see that, you go, okay, follow the money. But these guys
they spoke of their leadership ability. It wasn't necessarily playmaking. Of course, KZ got 7 picks, I think, a couple of years ago. But it's their knowledge of the defense. They are his coaches on the field. And he relies on them a lot. They mentioned that during the game, and you could see it throughout the year. KZ's always showing people where to go. I think one time Jordan Lewis made a mistake. KZ was right there to tell him where he made his mistake before they went back to the huddle.
And see, that was the hallmark of those Seattle teams, too. They were with Earl Thomas back there, Richard Sherman, and they were bright and
aggressive.
And very coordinated from a mental standpoint.
Yes. And how many times did we fuss about that last year? Like just no coordination at all. That leads to scores. Okay, you can talk about numbers and how much we give them, but when you make mistakes in the secondary, it leads to scores off of small, short passes, end up being long touchdowns. How many times did we see that last couple of years?
You probably haven't had a chance to really look at it yet, but what was going on with the tight end getting open for the Eagles?
I was just getting ready to bring that up. I think, contrary to what we just said, there were some busted coverages going on. They can't cover a tight end. And the good thing is Carolina traded their tight end.
Well, the way as wide open as they are, you could put a tackle out there and he would still be catching the ball. I mean, that's just how wide open they were.
And talking about what Everson was pointing out, on the touchdown pass to Ertz, Hooker was not where he was supposed to be, and at the last minute he was trying to get over, and they snapped the ball, and he got caught up in the muck, and he couldn't get over to get Ertz, but that was going to be his guy.
Right.
But he was late responding as well.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Where they were going.
Yeah, he was late coming across the
He got rubbed off.
He got rubbed. So, yeah, there was some busted. That's the only thing.
They came out in the whole second half.
And that second half, it was almost like, okay, this team can't be that cocky that they think this is over with, right? They were just having some busted covers. The other thing they were doing when the Eagles were getting the ball inside their own 20, like at the 10, he was sending out his second defensive line. And then they gashed him. And then they get to midfield, and it's like, okay, big boys, go back in and save the day, right? And it's like, do you have to sub out all 4 of them at once? How about 1 or 2, right?
I think he's just showing off.
But now that's what he's been doing. And Marinelli used to do the same thing. He would sub out the whole defensive line and bring in 4 fresh guys. Because if you look at the snaps on the defensive linemen, Gregory, and I'm just doing it real quick here, Gregory played the most snaps of the defensive linemen, and it was 38, 66%. Odigizua, 33. Goldston played 30. That was his NFL debut. And Bill Jones's guy from training camp, he did a story on Nick Ralston, got in the game.
He did.
Special teams, and he ended up also at the end there when they put in the backups on offense, he came in at fullback.
Yep. So how many snaps did he have on special teams in offense?
Where's it at? Where's Ralston on here? Better talk amongst yourselves.
We mentioned that. However, when they put a fullback in the game, it wasn't Nick Ralston.
How about that?
It sure was not. It sure was not. I got to say, that kind of backfired on him a couple of times. I don't think McGovern really went in with the kind of sense of urgency I wanted to see.
Well, you know what? He cleared the hole on
he did one
Zeke's
time.
touchdown, the 1-yard touchdown.
No doubt.
And he did another good job on another one. And then it wasn't just fullback. They put him in as a blocking tight end.
Right.
He had to report in, right? Number 66. Is that what they got that right. But, yeah, I thought that was good use of a guy. You know, you got talent on the find something for the guy to do. And they did so.
That second half was kind of ugly starting off because the tight ends were killing us, as you talked about. Thank God Hurts misses a play.
Well, you can count on Hurts missing.
Man, he missed one to the tight end, and then that led to the pick six.
Mm-hmm.
Right after that, he missed one.
Right.
Tight end was wide open. I still think the tight end could have caught that ball. He just had to lay out.
Yeah,
it wasn't that bad of a pass. He still should have caught it, but that led to the pick six, and you know.
He still hasn't gotten rid of his instincts when the pressure's on to take off and run. He ended up being their second leader in carries. He had
to be their leader in carries.
They
only had 3 carries.
No, he was the leader. He had 9 for 35 yards.
The
Miles Sanders can't be happy with 2 carries. What do you think?
And it came out in the second half. He broke off like a 28-yarder to start the second half. All right, we continue with more Mick shots in a moment as we take a look back at halftime and more last night.
At Smoothie King, we are blending goodness to fuel your greatness. Every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses only whole fruits and organic veggies. You'll never find sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of our blends. Smoothie King is proud to be the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys. Place your order in the app or online for pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way. Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with United Ag and Turf. Before you can park yourself in front of the game, park yourself in a John Deere and power through your chores. Our Land Run package is a 1025R, 25 horsepower tractor with a loader, rotary cutter, and a box blade for $229 a month. And the price you see is the price you'll pay, no surprises. So don't miss another kickoff.
Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com. Offer ends February 1st, 2021. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Now let's get to work.
Back to Mick Shots.
The new Miller Lighthouse, located outside AT&T Stadium, where Dallas Cowboys game day traditions are born. And I'm sure Bill went and checked it out since he was there for his pregame show. Enjoy yard games, Bill, Dallas Cowboy cheerleader performances, beer gardens, and more. For more information, visit attstadium.com/Miller Lighthouse. Miller Lighthouse, your tailgate just got jealous.
There you go.
I was actually not there for my pregame show.
I thought I saw you.
Hits.
I thought you were doing.
We were down on the field.
That's what I meant.
Oh, I thought you. I
thought maybe afterwards you went out to the Miller Lighthouse.
No, I had to get back to the TV station to get in front of the TV before 7:15. And by the way, how long did it take for the stadium to get filled with fans?
There was a late arriving crowd.
It really was.
But it was funny when I got there.
There was a traffic issue on the Bush Turnpike.
Is that what happened?
I heard about that.
Yeah, and
that's the way I came too.
There was a long line getting in when I was leaving, and then I can have my own mix shots about people in traffic and pull it into the middle of an intersection where nobody can go. Anyway.
I got there.
Don't you hate that, bro?
Not that I cussed out that lady that.
Well, just don't say Jesus
with your window down.
Yeah. I got there at 4, and of course, right when the buses pulled up, the Eagles buses pulled up, so that caused a little traffic. But the traffic started mounting around the AT&T. And I thought I got there early enough and, beat the rush hour.
Mm-hmm.
But people were showing up. So the parking lots were starting to fill up. So I'm thinking, these guys are going to be ready for this game because they already been outside partying.
And it was just a great evening.
Yes.
Weather-wise and everything.
Roof open,
windows open. And then, how about the halftime ceremony?
It was... You know what the strange thing was?
Because the people watching on television don't get to see much of it.
No,
that's right.
Watch it all on TV.
It was kind of neat. And they normally do this. They bring out the guys that are already in the Hall of Fame, the former players, so you get to see them. Although the spotlight wasn't shining bright enough, it was almost like you couldn't tell who was, at least from the press box where I was, who was walking out. And then, it's a neat thing to see the guys get their rings. Although, like someone getting married, you should always give the person who's going to wear the ring and let them put it on. So you don't sit there jamming and trying to get it up.
You see when he put Jimmy's on? Jimmy's like, okay, there you go. Got it. Done. There you go. And then Jimmy's like,
it's a ring ceremony, not a wedding.
Right. There you go, buddy. It's almost like you're kissing.
That's one of the things with Jerry. Jerry does that a lot when he gives something to somebody and he'll. Yeah.
I didn't know that. First time I've seen
that's
that.
One of the.
And Jimmy was like, okay.
Yeah. But they hugged.
Yeah, they did. But you could still tell there's a little bit of tension there. It's still a little bit of second guessing, and we could have done this. It could have been like this, because that's what the fans are thinking.
Well, on both of their parts.
No doubt.
Because Jimmy was looking for a hoop to jump through, and Jerry provided it.
Yeah.
And gave him money to go through. So, it was neat. I was good to, those guys got to at least be around Cowboy fans. When you're at the Hall of Fame, there's some Cowboy fans there, but this is predominantly. And I think it looked like they enjoyed it. I was waiting for Drew's hut at the end, and he let me down. He didn't say anything.
If he said it, you couldn't hear
but
it.
I'll tell you what.
His last rant at the end, they were so loud, just wanted to hear him speak.
I'm gonna be very positive. So when you get selected, I want you to enjoy.
You are being positive.
I want you to enjoy it as much as Drew enjoyed going into the Hall of Fame.
I can't enjoy it as much as Drew. There's no way. This guy got disrespected by the entire NFL. He was the last person picked on the all-decade first and second team offensive. That's just like, okay, we're just going to dig this in a little deeper, and then we're going to twist it for you because we're going to put in Harold Carmichael first.
I said it after the ceremony. I said it's a good thing we weren't playing a drinking game where you had to take a drink every time Drew Pearson said Pro Football Hall of Fame. No, he emphasized Pro Football Hall of Fame. He must have said it 30 times, right? And then he did it again in that. So that was cool. It's good to see Jimmy. And Cliff, he deserved it, and it was about time. And like you said, to have two guys undrafted to go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is a pretty neat deal. At the same time.
What about the how loud was that stadium? I know you can't really tell in the press box.
It was loud. It was really loud. And from some people I heard of that were sitting in the stands, it was pretty rowdy too. I heard there
was it?
A few things going on. I don't know if there was fights, but there was just...
that happens when Philly fans show up.
Yeah, right? But there was some...
I was just going to say how well-behaved everyone was. I missed that, Spags.
Somebody said there was some flashing going on.
Really?
Yeah,
oh, nice. Yeah. I missed that.
Yeah.
Like New Orleans style?
Yeah, I think so. They just didn't get any beads.
Dag nabbit, I missed it.
So, yeah. That happens with these games when they start like a night game. I remember that in Buffalo when the Cowboys played on, there were two holidays. It might have been like Columbus Day or there was some day in October
When
the Cowboys played at Buffalo?
Yeah.
The Romo 5 interception game?
Yes, I think that was the one. And then because it was also a holiday in Canada. It was Canada Day or something. So these people,
They played in July?
It was a Monday. Yeah, I don't know what the holiday was, but these people had all day Monday to get ready for the game, right? And I think,
and plus it was so rare for Buffalo to have a Monday night game.
I think that's what it was as well.
Yeah.
so the
They
first
were so
tip off,
excited about
the first
that.
tip off was we were staying downtown Buffalo, and about 4 or 5 in the morning, the fire alarm goes off. And you're sitting there going, okay, I know there's no fire here, but they came knocking on doors and made you get out and stand on the street, right? Then we're driving to the game, and I think this was that day because there was snow, and I may be confusing 2 games, right? And they were throwing snowballs at the players at the buses, right? And thought that was the greatest thing. And I remember Romo looking over and he goes, "This is so great." It was like I don't think that they were offending the Cowboys, right? And then when we left, we had to go by the lot that had the RVs up there. And as we went by, there were 3 ladies standing on top of an RV, and they decided they were mooning the buses, right, as we drove off. Like, we'll show you, right? Yeah, you showed me way too much.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like, hey, congratulations.
So I don't know when's the last time they've played in Buffalo. I might have confused 2 games into one.
Yeah, because the 5 interception game was, I believe, earlier in the season.
That was in October.
Yeah, that was in October. In fact, that was 07.
Okay.
So let's fast forward to 2011.
God, Buffalo doesn't do the Cowboys well at all.
It was a home game in 2011.
Well, just look
so
for Buffalo.
2015. Well, I'm not.
Remember
in
that was
section of the
1984 when we
media
gave up.
It was
They lost like 12 in a row.
2015. It would have been 2015 because they played 2 days after Christmas.
Okay.
And it was a Buffalo win 16-6. Of course, that was a bad season for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But
What about 1984?
Romo wouldn't. He was injured then, wasn't he? In 2015. Anyway, whatever.
Oh, he could have been on the bus.
Yeah,
anyway.
Do you remember 84? Greg Bell went off for 200-plus yards on us.
Yes.
Anchored by 2 80-yard touchdowns.
I think that was
one was the beginning of the game, and the other one was beginning of the second half.
I think that was Hogaboom's last start.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I think that game was maybe November
18th.
Okay.
They had lost 12 in a row.
I was covering on a Saturday. I was covering a Nebraska home game. And I could not get from Lincoln, Nebraska, or Omaha to Buffalo in time for the game. So I missed that game.
Thank God for you.
Yeah,
and it was
because it was an ugly game.
14-3 Buffalo.
14-3. He scored. The touchdowns came first play of the first half. First play of the second half.
I believe Danny White got his starting job back after that game.
Didn't do any good.
Didn't make much.
Won the next 2,
but you got to 9-7, right?
Won the next 2, then lost the final 2. Which I'm glad you.
Miami, the last one.
I'm glad you hearkened back to 1984 because what last night reminded me a little bit of was 1985, Joe Theismann's birthday, which was the season opener, a 44-14 win over what was then the Cowboys' chief rival, Washington.
Yeah, but everybody really, really hated Joe.
And
nobody really knows Jalen. They hated
so,
Joe.
you know what?
Yeah.
That's what made
no,
that
but I'm
more
just
fun.
saying the lopsided.
And Monday Night Football.
Yeah,
Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
They sang Happy
They
Birthday
sang Happy
to
Birthday,
Joe.
yeah.
And that was the beginning, and that was part of that 85 season when he had the interceptions in the first 3 games of Thurman's Thieves, right?
Yeah, buddy.
That was the birth of Thurman's Thieves that year.
Even though we were kicking butt way before that, they just finally decided to give us a moniker.
Right. Well, first year I show up, first year they hadn't gone to the playoffs in 20 consecutive seasons.
We knew that. We didn't want to talk about
You knew what was happening.
Yeah, man. That's been on your back.
Look at who this guy
That target's
is.
been on your back for a long time. You just didn't know it.
Got to send that Yankee back north.
All right, that does it for this edition of Mick Shots. So much more to get to on the Monday night game and looking ahead to the unbeaten Carolina Panthers coming here this week, and we'll do that tomorrow at 1:30 here on Mick Shots.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?